Hello, listeners. This is your old friend Ian. And when you hear my voice, you know we got something special. But of course, you already know what it is because you know what you clicked on. And this man needs no introduction because he is a legend without whom arguably heavy metal would not be what it is today. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Carmine Appice. Welcome, Carmine.
Hey, how you doing? Boy, that was a nice intro.
I meant every word
Thank
of
you.
it.
Thank you for that. Oh, you did? Oh, thank you for that.
Now, the reason we're talking today is because Cactus has a new album out now, but we've got an intergenerational and international audience. So, if you need to refresh yourself for some reason with Carmine's history, maybe you know him from Vanilla Fudge, maybe you know him from Blue Murder, maybe you know him from Rod Stewart. But today we're talking about the upcoming, or actually, by the time we talk about this, the release of
Yeah.
Cactus's Temple of Blues Influences and Friends. And Carmine, if I can come just straight out and tell you something that's maybe on people's minds when they hear that you've got a new recording of classic songs, I think a lot of people are skeptical when they hear that. They think this is maybe a cash grab, maybe this is a way to tread time on a contract. But I got to tell you, I wouldn't have bothered talking to you today if I hadn't listened to it and heard that there's something really special going on here. So thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Thank you. First of all, today in recording, there's no cash grabs. Let me tell you, it took me, by the time I finished this record, I probably made 3 cents an hour. Because, man, it took me a year to do all this. And it wasn't my idea either. It was the record company's idea. They said maybe they're making the cash. I don't know, but it was their idea to say, he said, the owner of the company, who's a friend of mine, he said, look, we've done a few Cactus albums. They've done well for us. What would you think about doing a Cactus album that was, we got people on it that were influenced by Cactus? I said, wow, that's a good idea. I said, maybe we can call it Influences and Friends. I can get some friends on as well. So they said, yeah, that's great. So we put together a budget. It wasn't very big, I have to say, because budgets aren't big today, you know. And I have a studio in my house, so I said, well, how am I going to do this? Because everybody's going to be all over the country and all over the place. So the best way to do it was because I didn't want to start it with the band, because they're all over the place too. So I said, let me start it with the drums. It's the foundation. So I started with the drums. The first two songs were done with me singing to myself to a click and playing it. Parchment Farm and One Way or Another. Those are the first two songs. And then it came out really good. The drum parts were good. The way I record, I could punch in and out verses and choruses, like everybody else. But so I did those, and then I said, let me figure out another way to do this. Because after I did those two, I sent it to my singer. My singer now is he plays harmonica, and he's been with us for a couple of years. So he played guitar also. So he played guitar, harmonica, and vocal where needed. So, and then our bass player would put a bass on it, and now we have like a demo. Okay, so the next 12 songs, I said I need a better way to do this. So I put the click on, and I actually sang the song on the click on my recording machine. So like
So
Evil, I would go,
just the vocal track yourself.
yeah, just doing everything. Go like bam bam chick chick drums, dig it, battle it down to down to down to down down bam bam drums, drum fill, dig it, diddle it down to down to down vocal and dog from home, diddle it down. So I did the whole song like that, beginning to end. So one of my interviewers said you should release that as a scat version. I said that would be funny. But anyway, then that worked because now I have something to play to. You know, it's really difficult when you're playing drums. You don't have nothing to play to. You're just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's
So that
difficult
gave,
for everybody. I'm
yeah.
surprised.
So that,
It sounds fantastic and natural for an album that's very bluesy. I mean, to be clear, if
yeah,
people don't know already, we're talking about you collaborated with people like Vernon Reid, Joe Bonamassa, Rudy Sarzo, one of my
yeah.
favorites. I mean,
Billy
the list
Billy
is
Sheehan, Billy Sheehan, Dee Snider, Warren Haynes. God, I can't. The guys from King's X. Doug Pinnick and Ty Tabor, Phil Susan, Bumblefoot. They're all on the record and more. There's 25 actual artists on the record, and
And I
so we
really
did the
enjoyed
whole,
them. You know, their
yeah,
interpretations are incredible. But
and
one
I know.
question that I've got for you, man, is well, it's fascinating to hear their interpretations. I'm wondering what your perspective was like. I just want to touch back to one of the last Cactus albums, was it Tightrope?
Yes.
And your playing on there is really different. Of course, it's different. Of course, it's evolved, right? Um,
Yeah.
you're doing some. It sounds to me, I'm not a drummer really, but it sounds to me like you've got some standard blues patterns that are way more syncopated. You'll leave out the kick on the one every now and then, and it's
Yeah.
bluesy but very unexpected. Now, this is to bring you back to your recording experience on this.
So which album you talking about there?
I'm talking
On
about
the new one?
Tightrope. Yeah, no, the
Okay.
2021's Tightrope, I think it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
I love that record.
It's
The song Tightrope in the video was great. I loved the video. And I loved the groove I had on Tightrope. It was very different.
It is. So
Yeah.
what was it
Uh,
like for you to go back to this old Cactus material and have to think about it again? Were you doing any kind of reinterpretation of your old self? Were you thinking, there's always something I wish I had done differently, or I've been doing it differently all these years? Or were you trying to keep it, to
Well,
the
I mean,
letter?
whenever I play whatever I feel at the time. I mean, I try to keep the vibe on like songs like Evil. There's a drum part that can't change, in the grooves. Parchment Farm, same thing. But if you listen to all the fills, they're all different. They're all filled. I've been playing those songs live, even Tightrope live. If I played Tightrope now, it'd be different than the record, because that's what I do. When it's a horror for me to do a video, because I don't know what I played. Just like when I played on Paul Stanley's album, right? I did a bunch of drum fills at the end. I started doing clinics after that came out, and people were telling me, "What's that fill you did at the end of Paul Stanley's album?" I don't know. I had to go buy a cassette after 3 clinics. I did 6 clinics. After the third clinic, I went and bought the cassette and listened to it on my Walkman so I knew what I did, because I don't know what I do. So doing videos is difficult. I just did Evil video. That was hard because I don't know what drum fills I played. I just did the One Way or Another video with Ted Nugent, and I don't know what I played. So what I try and do at the end of the videos, I try and just do a fill track. So with fills that I remember, and then if there's a fill that I did wrong, they could insert it from the fill drum tracks, in the video. And so, so for me, it was fun, you know, and really fun doing it to a click with nobody else. That was really weird and fun. But if you listen to Guiltless Glider, I mean, the solo I did in the middle is totally different than the original. We only played that a few times when we were old, and I never played it lately with the new Cactus band. But when we go out and tour and we do our own shows, I may have to add that too, because it's a killer song.
You've got your own home studio, and obviously you're used to doing things in the modern way, but can you tell me a bit about the very first time you were in a recording studio and what that was like?
Very, very first time,
Very, very first time.
I don't even remember. All I remember is going in there. In those days, they did everything. You just played. You know, I was with a group called the Three Beats, I think it was called. We did over "You Really Got Me," you know, and we used to play those kind of things live. You know, so we went and did that. I just played what we did live. It was just three of us. I don't even know if we did any overdubs. It was just straight to the studio. And then probably the next time I was in the studio was Vanilla Fudge, and You Keep Me Hanging On, and that was direct one take mono. I'm not sure if we just did I think we sang it and everything live. Maybe not. Maybe we did the track live once, and then we went and did the vocals over it. You
That's
know,
incredible. And when you're talking about the history of metal, that cover of Keep Me Hanging On, and Some Velvet Morning, I mean, that era is just undeniable.
I'm surprised you said Some Velvet Morning.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah,
For doom metal fans, if you're paying
because
attention to me,
that one didn't hit me as a metal thing. It was heavy, and then it went to the dynamics of Vanilla Fudge was always and then down to nothing.
oh,
You
that
know,
one's heavy as can be to me. Are you kidding? Heavy,
yeah,
beautiful, it's got
it's
it
good.
all.
It's really good. Yeah, but it starts off and then builds up and then goes down and builds up again. But you know, hanging on in that first album and all that, you know, I think what it really started, if you think about it, attacking instruments like was You Keep Me Hanging On the Ed Sullivan Show. That was like, you know, I look at that and I'm like attacking myself, you know, on the drums. I'm attacking it. And we played like that. And we always played like that. Shotgun was like that on the Ed Sullivan Show too, you know.
I'm imagining that in Vanilla Fudge, you were stuck with the problem of not having a horn section, whereas a lot of the other groups doing stuff like this had a horn section that allowed for heavier hits, bigger hits. You got
No,
nothing
no,
like that.
no, totally wrong.
So fill me in. That was
Okay,
my
because
my take.
all the groups that were happening in Vanilla Fudge days were the Vagrants that had Leslie West in it, and they used to slow down songs and we called them production numbers. So we copied them, but our mentors were the Rascals. Okay, and then there was Billy Joel had a band called the Hassles. We were all in the same clubs and all that. So what I did versus what everybody else didn't do is the amplifiers were getting so loud you couldn't hear the drums. So I had to beat them harder to get a louder sound out versus the amplifiers, you know? So that's what it was. It was just trying to compete with amplifiers back in those days that were getting bigger. You know,
Oh,
when I
I get
first
that for the pounding, but I think I'm talking, I'm not saying I'm correct. It's you, right? But I'm wondering more about the. I don't want to call it a funkier style.
the technique, the technique.
Yeah, there's
Well,
something,
I grew
there's
up.
something else.
Yeah, I grew up playing funk, and I played everything. I played weddings, bar mitzvahs. I played everything. So I was able to incorporate. If Vanilla Fudge were like, we did all kinds of Temptations. We did Marvin Gaye. We did all that stuff because Mark Stein and the band were great singers. You know, so we did all that funky stuff, Motown and Atlantic stuff, Midnight Hour, and all that. You know, You Keep Me Hanging On was it was a Motown song. You know, and then we added funk and soul to Beatles songs. You know, on that first album, People Get Ready was a impression song. You
It was a
know,
totally
so
different era. To me, one of the
yeah,
things that's tough to imagine from today's perspective is it was at the time not just possible but normal, typical to get big as what today we would call, doing covers, but it wasn't really thought of that way.
no,
Uh,
we did it as rearrangements. We totally rearranged the songs so they weren't the same songs that you used to. And we did it by listening to the vocals, the lyrics. Keep me hanging on was set me free, why don't you, baby? You know, we slowed it down and put the emotion into the vocal and the music. People Get Ready, right? People Get Ready was a impression song, but we made it into a gospel song because it would sound like a gospel song. And we made it into a gospel song by adding the organ and all those gospel kind of vocals. You know, Shotgun, we slowed down, you know, as well. And all that songs we did. Eleanor Rigby, you know, it was a great version that the Beatles did, but then we added the context of the lyric, like a cemetery and a church and eerie. And we made it sound eerie, you know? And that's what we did. And in the mix of slowing things down and just putting the music, what the lyrics are saying musically, adding the music to what they are saying, you know? But in the middle of it, we're playing harder. I mean, I saw there was an article on Yahoo.com today about Cactus. It said if you don't own a Cactus album, go out and get one. And then it showed a little bit of Cactus at the Isle of Wight doing the song "Let Me Swim." And what I'm watching there is me attacking the drums like an animal. You know, I mean, my sticks were like above my head coming down, hitting cymbals. And I said, oh my God, with the energy and the power was ridiculous. But it was like that on the Ed Sullivan Show, and it was like that through Cactus BBA. And I started slowing down a little bit when I played with Rod Stewart.
okay,
You
now
know,
here's something I really want to know about. And you're probably the best person to ask about it. When the disco sucks backlash came,
Hmm.
you were sort of one of the guys holding the bag. I mean, you've got product not just drumming on Rod's big disco hits. You've got
Well, I
production
co-wrote it.
credits, right?
I
Right. I
co-wrote it.
mean,
I co-wrote it. But
so I want to know
originally,
what that moment felt like for
well,
you.
it was amazing when it went to number one. We were in Australia, and me and Rod took the whole crew out for dinner, and we split the bill. Because we knew we were going to make a lot of money from it. But the original version of that was heavier guitars and drums. We had three guitars on it. We had the percussions. We had David Foster play keyboard, Phil Chen bass, me drums, and I have to kill a drum sound. But then the producer, Tom Dowd, wanted to make more of it, so he brought in another tape machine. We put on 224s. He brought in an orchestra. He brought in a whole bunch of things that made it lighter, right? We turned it into what it ended up being. And when we first heard it, we were kind of like, oh man, it sounds like so wimpy now compared to what it was. Because originally Rod wanted it to sound like Missing You, like the Rolling Stones. And that's what we had. But then Tom changed it. But then when it went to number one in 15 countries, we couldn't bitch.
No, and the Young Turks comes not too long after
Yeah,
that. It's got a bit of the
right.
same.
And well, that one was, he wanted a new wave kind of song. And I didn't even play drums on it. I programmed a drum machine for the first time. And that was the first drum machine ever recorded. And I put the hi-hat and cymbals on and did all the background vocals. And we used my friend Dwayne's synthesizers and stuff to create it. But we were always exploring new territories. I mean, our version of "Do You Think I'm Sexy" wasn't really what followed. You know, it was a rock song with a disco beat.
So
You know,
how did you feel then when all of America starts hating disco all of a sudden, and
I don't
you're
care.
out front
I
on
left.
it?
I left all the way to the bank. I didn't care. When we played that song live, come on, man, that song brought, that's the biggest song Rod ever had. We played 6 nights at the Forum, 5 nights at the Garden, 4 nights at the Nassau Coliseum. Anywhere we went, 4 nights at Coble Hall. Anywhere we went was multiple nights at the arenas. So I didn't care what people said, because people were showing up to hear it. Sometimes we played in the show and they wanted to hear it again. We played it as a double encore, so I didn't care. The first combination that we had, I did, it was more rock, and Rod and Tom Dowd didn't like it. So we changed it to the arrangement we had now, except, we had it without everything on it. But I took that other arrangement of rock song, we wrote a new song with it. And I was producing a Japanese female singer, and we did it with her. It's called I Just Fell in Love Again. And it was heavy. We had Earl Slick on it, and I think Willie Weeks was on it, the bass player, Blaine Hicksons, and myself. And it was a whole different version. It could have been the same song, but it was a whole different version, different lyrics, different melody. You know, so it's just a matter of what the melody and the lyrics are you put on top of music to change the song. So I learned a lot from Rod about songwriting, about image, about making everything an event. You know, he was a good guy, and he's still friends of mine. I got a show now called Tonight's the Night, a true Rod experience. I got a guy that looks, sounds like, sings like Rod, moves like Rod, and the sax player that was Rod 14 years, a chick named Katra, and me. So we do the music and stories, and we do like theaters, 1,000-seat theaters, and sell out. It's a lot of fun because I never play those songs anymore. I was involved in them. I was involved in Young Turks. I was involved in Passion. I was involved in Hot Legs. You're in my heart. I played Tonight's the Night millions of times. People get ready. Do you think I'm sexy? What's that song by the Faces? Down, 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 down. That one. I can't remember the name right now.
No, but like you
I
said, it's
played.
all about that melody and the vocal. And one thing that
Yeah,
I think I heard in another interview you did is that you recently participated in an AI session with a,
yes.
can you tell me more about that?
I can't really tell you more about it until it comes out, but it was a female singer that you'd never think would sing the song. We did a version. She did a version of it with an acoustic guitar of Purple Haze.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. So wait,
So
how
my
does it
record,
come into this?
well, my record company, I work with them a lot. It's the same guy, the owner, and he's got another one he wants me to do. And, and it's interesting. It's like an experimental. I enjoy that, even though some people go, "Oh man, AI," you know, it's experimental. It's here anyway. Robots are going to take over a lot of our work. They do already. They build cars.
Yeah, look,
But
we're already programming drum machines and we still have drummers. It'll probably be all right.
look at rap is all drums, and that's why you got Guitar Centers and Sam Ash closing.
So did you have AI like write the were you
No,
just
there
writing
was
it?
no. He gave me all he did was give me the vocal. He said, "I want Cactus to back up this vocal."
So the vocals
So
AI.
the vocals AI, the rest of it's Cactus,
Wow.
like the record that sounds like the new Cactus record. He loved the sound of it so much. He said, "I'd like you to produce this with this artist with Cactus behind it."
But the artist isn't like one of those Japanese hologram things. It's like a real
No, no,
person.
no, no. It's a real person. And he had the rights to the person that passed away. He had the rights to the vocal from the family, and he took the vocal and the, they made a younger version of the person, but it was just the vocal doing that song, Purple Haze. So we took it, me and my engineer, who co-produces all the stuff for me, we put it on a click, and then I played drums to it first. I sent it to him, to the owner. He said, "That's great." And then I put Tony Franklin on bass, right, and my guitar player from Cactus, and then we mixed it like we mixed the Cactus record, and it kicks ass.
Is it gonna come out as a Cactus song? Like,
No,
how is it gonna be promoted?
it's gonna come out as this person with Cactus,
Oh,
both.
can you, we're not recording the video. Can you just like write it on a piece of paper and hold it up for me?
No,
Tell me who it
no, no,
is.
I can't do it. So don't mention it until it's ready to come out. It's creating interest. Now we do. He just sent me an old blues guy that passed away.
Wait, so wait, there's gonna
That
be
we
another.
all know. I'm gonna do that as soon as we're done. Do all these interviews and everything, and we come up with. We're gonna redo a song, that everybody knows with this blues guy with Cactus behind it.
So it's another case of somebody's deceased. You've got the AI vocal generator,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
license is going to live on with Cactus as the backing band.
yes.
Now, how does this
And
work?
I think it's great. I mean, like Robert Plant, they were going to do it with Stevie Marriott and Robert Plant and Eric Clapton. They all were bitching against it. I should let the legend live on. But you know, I'm a believer in just doing new things. Experimenting. Not living off the old. Let's experiment. I'm cool. You know.
How is this going to work when it comes to tour support? Are you going to get
No, no, I don't think we're
is
gonna.
it going to go
They're
that
not gonna
far?
tour. They're not gonna tour with it. It's just gonna be a release that's unique and experimental, and that's what I like about it. It's experiment. You know,
This is absolutely amazing. I'm so
it is amazing. I mean, just the fact that they can do that is amazing.
and
And the
it's is
fact
it
that we
like
can
backing
record
vocals
with
and
it.
everything?
Yeah,
I'm still just trying to
we
get my
can
head
do.
around it.
Well, they can do back, and we did a harmony, uh, lead vocal harmony with this other one, because my engineer is amazing. I mean, listen to the sound of the Cactus record. He mixed it. It sounds great. So yeah. And let me just, before I got to go, let me just say one thing. The Cactus Temple of the Blues was just going to be a regular album until I took it to my guy, the same guy that wants to do these things I'm talking about. I said, look, let's market it like a blues album. Look at Foghat, the #1 on the Billboard Blues, and Robin Trower, #1. Cactus is the same kind of music. Why shouldn't we? We should market it as a blues album. So he said, well, let's call it Cactus, let's call it Temple of the Blues. I said, great. Well, let's continue. Temple of the Blues, influences and friends. And we can market it as a blues record. Great. So example that it works is like last week we were number 6 on the Amazon pre-orders for blues. And on regular albums, we were number 315.
That's fantastic.
Right?
I'm so happy for you. Now, hey,
Right?
one
So
last
I
quick
said,
question for
see?
you though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Given
Yeah.
your experimentations with AI, can I look forward to having an AI Carmine Appice plugin in my computer in the future? Are you preparing
No,
for that?
no, but I did a video with the woman I produced, which I don't remember which song it is, and she did a video and she pulled in the video an AI and he put in my name, and my name came up in the AI library or whatever it is. So she did an AI version of me on this video.
How was it?
It was cool. It looked like me. It was me playing. I was playing, and she just put the image of me, an AI image of me playing the song that I played.
Which era of you did it show?
Say again?
Which visual era was it? Was it Blue Murder era, big hair? Was it
No, no, it was now of me now. It was me now, but it changed my whole appearance. Everything I wore and everything. It changed to an AI version of me,
Oh
and it
wow.
looks a little different than me, but mostly like me now. And they had a hat on me, and I couldn't tell what hair was under it, but there was a hat and a totally different outfit and different. The face was the same, but it looked robotical.
Yeah.
It was really weird. But I said, wow. Yeah, but in the new contracts with all these record companies, they put in there, that they allow them to do the AI thing of this. But I said, I'm not going to sign this unless that's out. Or just you can do the AI thing just for this track, not leaving it open to use my drums. You can't use my drums for any other AI thing.
Wow.
You know, but it's getting in there.
Well, you're at the forefront of it, my man. I really appreciate the time you took
Well,
talking with me about it.
thank you for doing it. I'm sorry we didn't have um, much longer time. I've been doing these things. I've been spending like 45 minutes, but I have an appointment to go to by 3:15. And it's a good 40 minutes away, so I have to leave. But
It's
if you want to set
completely
up, you want to do
understandable.
some, if you want to do more, set it up. With Michael, we could do another one.
I would love that. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Have a fantastic day. Best of luck with this album launch. I'm looking forward to hearing this AI thing,
Yeah,
whatever it
good.
is.
Keep pushing this album. All right? That's what we need. And keep telling people to buy it and don't Spotify it. Buy it on iTunes, buy it on Amazon, because musicians get screwed on Spotify. All right.
There we go.
I do not, I will never ever play a song on Spotify. Okay. If I want a song, I'll buy it on iTunes. I did it already a few times. I heard a song on YouTube. I heard it. And I said, I'm going to buy that. And I bought it. And I heard another one. I bought it. That's the way to do it, because that keeps the musician alive and making money and working. Otherwise, the only way a musician can make any work or money is to tour and do touring and merchandise. Luckily for me, knock on wood, I started a long time ago. All my big money was made, and I used it and made investments, so I'm sitting okay. But a lot of musicians that are starting, they're on Spotify, and they once said, "Well, Spotify is like radio." I said, "No, radio you get paid for it." You know. So anyway, that's my last hurrah.
Bye,
Okay.
don't
Thank you,
Spotify.
brother.
Thank you,
That's right.
Carmine.
Thank you. That's a good word. Bye. Don't Spotify. That'd be a great song. Like I want my MTV. Bye. Don't Spotify. I'm gonna think about that one.
I'm gonna put my AI on it and beat you to it.
Ah, there you go. Okay, bro. See you
Take
soon.
care, man. See you.
Ciao. Bye bye.